President Tinubu announces end of state of emergency in Rivers State. Federal government announces plans to ban open grazing in the FCT. And federal government signs deal for local production of solar equipment to cut importation. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. In a major political development, President Bola Tinubu has announced the official end of the state of emergency in Rivers State. The declaration comes exactly 6 months after the emergency was imposed due to what the president described as a total paralysis of governance in the state. President Tinubu had on March 18, 2025, invoked Section 305 of the Nigerian Constitution to suspend the governor, deputy governor, and state lawmakers following a deepening political crisis between the executive and legislative arms of Rivers State. The conflict left key government functions, including the state budget, completely stalled and sparked widespread concern over law and order, especially with critical infrastructure like oil pipelines being vandalized. According to the president's recent intelligence reports suggest a renewed willingness among stakeholders in the state to work together to restore democratic governance. Citing a groundswell of understanding and enthusiasm, President Tinubu said the emergency would not extend beyond the original 6-month period and will officially expire at midnight. With the lifting of the emergency, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, Deputy Governor Ngozi Nnaodu, and members of the State House of Assembly, led by Speaker Martin Zamewulu, are expected to resume full duties starting Wednesday, September 18, 2025. President Tinubu urged them to put aside past differences and prioritize peace, development, and service delivery to the people of Rivers State. The president also used the occasion to remind all Nigerian governors and state assemblies of the importance of collaboration and good governance. He emphasized that democracy can only thrive in an environment of peace, cautioning against political infighting, and urged leaders to place their interests, the interests of the people, above all else. Saudi Arabia authorities have released 3 Nigerian pilgrims who were detained in Jeddah a month ago following their arrest over alleged drug trafficking. This was confirmed at a media briefing in Abuja. Salah Khalil Ibrahim has details.
3 Nigerians, Mariam Abdullahi Bahija Aminu, and Abdul Hamid Sadiq, were recently freed from detention in Saudi Arabia after 4 weeks in custody. They had been arrested on August 6th in Saudi Arabia after a syndicate operating at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, tagged their luggage with illicit drug without their knowledge. They were traveling to Jeddah for the Lesser Hajj when they were detained for alleged drug trafficking. Following complaint from the families, an investigation was launched, leading to the arrest of the drug kingpin and 3 other members of the syndicate, including airline officials. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and other government officials engaged with their Saudi counterpart to prove the innocence of the detainees and secure their release.
That following the series of engagements, one of the 3 Nigerians was released from custody on Sunday, the 14th September, and the remaining 2 on Monday, 15th September 2025, just 2 days ago. We'd like to reiterate our commitment that Nigeria will never abandon its citizens, especially when the facts clearly show that they are victims of criminal conspiracies, as in this case, as established in this case. We again assure the public of the agency's unwavering commitment to fight the scourge of substance abuse and illicit drug trafficking in the country, with no sacred cows in our enforcement duties.
The detainees are already on their way back to Nigeria. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Minister of Livestock Development Sidi Mukhtar Meha says cattle roaming the streets of the Federal Capital Territory will soon be a thing of the past. He stated this during the ministry's maiden media retreat organized for livestock journalists in Kaduna, with the theme driving livestock growth through strategic communication. Yusuf Jika reports.
Cattle roaming streets of Abuja is gradually becoming a source of concern not only to its residents but to the city's status. This was among the concerns brought to the fore at the media retreat organized by the Ministry of Livestock Development for livestock journalists, where the minister said plans are underway to relocate cattle roaming Abuja Center City to the 4 gazetted grazing reserves in the territory, reiterating the ministry's commitment to unlocking full potentials of the livestock industry for economic growth and prosperity.
Those 4 grazing reserves has a total land area of 33,000 hectares of land. We are going to also do an evaluation of security concerns, the availability, functionality of social amenities in those grazing reserves.
We will address the challenges inherent in the livestock sector as well as the abundant opportunities available.
Participants at the retreat undertook on a ranch guided tour in Zaidi Farm led by the minister Idi Mukhtar Meha, highlighting the beauty of ranching and its multi-dimensional benefits, saying pastoralism is no longer sustainable.
And this is the picture we want to replicate across the country going forward. Under the president's, under this government's renewed hope agenda, the livestock component is preaching what we are seeing here.
Ranching is a process and is possible. It is the future of the livestock industry that requires the support of all stakeholders. In Kaduna, Yusuf Jika, NTN News.
In the meantime, agricultural experts on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria have emphasized the need for synergy among the three tiers of government and the private sector to create an enabling environment where agriculture can thrive in Nigeria. Alika Banachiarua reports.
Guest on Good Morning Nigeria says leveraging technology for smart agriculture and sensitizing more youth to go into the sector will help increase food production and reduce unemployment in Nigeria. They further stressed the need for proper infrastructure in place to convey food from farm to market, in addition to investing in cold chain methods to reduce post-harvest losses.
If you cannot have good storages, if you don't have people with money elsewhere to support internally investments that will be sustainable, all these issues will leave you where you were.
The new mantra of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, 4 things, 4 sentences, very sharp ones. 1, better production. 2, better nutrition. 3, better environment. And 4, better life for all the citizens of the world.
The guests suggest greenhouse farming and irrigation equipment for farmers.
FAO or FIO should just be a support agency. We should think it through. If we have the Professor Gambos in this country, we should be able to return them, to research centers that can be funded to begin to participate in now proving outputs.
They called on Nigerians to take interest in farming and not leave the business of food production to the government alone. In Abuja, Alika Banachiarua, NTA News.
Now, to promote economic growth and financial inclusion, the Central Bank of Nigeria has conducted a public fair in Kano State to educate Nigerians on ways to achieve price stability in the domestic markets. The event focused on the use of alternative payment channels to support small and medium enterprises. Awal Salisu has details.
The public fair in Kano, organized by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, serves as a platform designed to bring the bank closer to the people and shed light on policies driving Nigeria's economic growth. with the theme driving alternative payment channels as tool for financial inclusion, growth and accelerated economic development. The event focused on how digital innovations are transforming the financial landscape, especially for small and medium enterprises.
The core objective of this engagement, therefore, is to sensitize members of the public on the bank policies that enhance their lives and livelihood and contribute to the growth and development of the Nigerian economy.
The CBN also introduced the Unified Complaints Tracking System and a USSD code for verifying licensed institutions, reinforcing consumer protection and transparency.
The CBN policy geotagging creates a situation whereby from each location you can tell where a money is being transferred, which is a measure in which you can curb fraud, ensure transparency, and give that confidence to people that are transferring money.
Each and every customer should be given the right of equality, irrespective of the amount of money or the transaction you make.
Participants were encouraged to rely on official CBN platforms for accurate information and to respect the Naira as a symbol of national pride. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
With the surge in solar deployments and acceptability, affordability is still a challenge in the country. The federal government is addressing this as a new deal has been signed for local production of solar equipment to cut importation. Joshua Ojito reports.
Across Nigeria, solar energy is bringing light to communities once left in the dark. But most of the panels, batteries and inverters are imported, costly and subject to global price shocks. Now, the Rural Electrification Agency is changing the narrative. The plan is clear: to attract investors, partner with local manufacturers, and build capacity to produce solar panels and other components in the country. The target is to cut costs, create jobs, and strengthen Nigeria's energy security. Already, an investor has indicated interest to build a manufacturing plant with the capacity to produce 1,000 megawatt solar equipment.
We have, working with the Budget Office, the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, were able to catalyze the first round of the phase 0 funding of the NPSI, which is the seed required for this localization. We are also working towards ensuring that the country has adequate talent development in country so that this manufacturing plant will utilize also Nigerian local talent to make sure that we maintain this manufacturing plant.
It is also an opportunity, and Nigeria will witness this, to create a linkage between the nation's renewables market and the capital market.
Because of partnerships like this and because of investments like this, the investments that we follow on to usher in this new electricity supply industry can be assured to be more sustainable.
Agreement signed between parties for the takeoff of the project expected to transform the energy landscape for millions still off the grid. The promise of locally made solar equipment offers more than electricity. It offers opportunities which the Rural Electrification Agency says the journey to energy independence is just beginning. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
This is the News Desk at 6 on NTA News 24. More reports when we return. Stay with us.
Feel the power of precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
Welcome back. Following heavy inflows and rising water levels across the country, the Sokoto-Rima River Basin Development Authority has issued another public alert notifying communities and farmers downstream. Consequently, the Goronyo Dam has increased the release of water from 300 cubic meters to 550 cubic meters per second. Usman Zubir reports that the authority gave the directive in a statement.
The Goronyo Dam, inaugurated in 1992, is the largest multipurpose reservoir in Sokoto State, designed to support irrigation farming, water supply, fisheries, and flood control. The water level of the dam is not expected to exceed 288 million cubic meters, but as it stands, it has already reached 285.7 cubic meters. The release of water has been increased from 300 cubic meters to 550 cubic meters per second. With this development, the dam poses flooding risks whenever water level exceeds its storage capacity. The latest warning underscores the Sokoto-Rima Basin Development Authority's effort to avoid recurrence of a such disaster by keeping stakeholders informed and encouraging preventive action, protecting its integrity and avoiding high impact downstream.
We must regulate the flood that is coming into the reservoir. Therefore, we are calling the downstream users always, those are the farmers, fishermen, canoe riders, and everybody, that they should align their work based on our action plan always, in order to save the life of people.
The authority urged farmers and residents along river banks and flood-prone areas to evacuate immediately and remain vigilant. It assures stakeholders that it will continue to provide timely information and guidance to mitigate risks as well as safeguard lives and livelihoods. It could be recalled that in 2010 and 2018, Essex water release led to severe flooding in Sokoto and Kebbi states, destroying farmlands, displacing communities, and loss of lives. In Abuja, Smunsberg, NTA News.
The Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Agile project in Kogi State has continued the distribution of 40,000 Naira conditional cash transfer grants to schoolgirls. Following the earlier flag-off of the scheme, the initiative is aimed at enhancing school enrollment, retention and transition for adolescent girls, thereby strengthening their contribution to the state's social and economic developments. At the exercise held at the GYB Model Science Secondary School, Lokoja, the Agile team issued preloaded ATM cards to parents and guardians of beneficiaries. Speaking at the event, the Kogi State Project Coordinator, Ahmed Oricha, commended Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo for keeping to his promise of ensuring that ATM cards are distributed across the state to all beneficiaries. He stressed that the disbursements was not a one-off, but a follow-up activity towards the governor's pledge that the Agile CCT initiative will be sustained as a continuous intervention under the Agile project. He emphasized that the project would provide a cash grant of 40,000 Naira each to 13,359 adolescent girls in transition classes across the state, with the goal of dismantling financial and socio-cultural barriers preventing girls from attending school. Oricha further urged schoolgirls to maintain regular school attendance while calling on parents to ensure the funds are used strictly for their children's education. The lead consultant, Richard Alabi, reiterated that the accounts linked to the ATM card is a dedicated wallet for Agile Fund disbursements and must not be diverted for other uses. He emphasized that beneficiaries must sustain at least 70% school attendance to continue enjoying the scheme, while also cautioning parents against paying any form of processing fees, as the government has fully covered the costs. The conditional cash transfer lead, Kunle Musa, explained that the disbursement is being carried out in batches until all beneficiaries receive their funds. Every child has the right to safe and quality healthcare from the very beginning. This message is resonating across the globe as the international community marks 2025 World Patient Safety Day. Olusheye Adeagbo reports on how health partners, championed by the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, came together to commemorate the day. All right, apologies for loss of audio in that report. We'll get it to you in our subsequent bulletin. Now, the conversation at this year's joint scientific conference of the Nigerian Cardiac Society and the Pan-African Society of Cardiology holding in Abuja is seeking cost-effective interventions for mitigating the burden of managing cardiovascular diseases in Africa. Tokpe Alabi reports that one of the highlights is a basic life support instructor program designed to equip health workers and other citizens with life-saving cardiopulmonary resuscitation skills.
In 2015, the United Nations set targets to reduce premature cardiovascular disease deaths by 33% by 2030, as out of 17 million premature deaths under the age of 70 due to non-communicable diseases in 2015, 82% are in low and middle-income countries and 37% are caused by cardiovascular diseases.
To provide feedback to the participating sites.
While most cardiovascular diseases can be prevented by addressing behavioral risk factors, including tobacco use, unhealthy diet and obesity, physical inactivity, and harmful use of alcohol using population-wide strategies, cardiologists believe preventing diabetes and hypertension can also reduce the need for expensive interventions, especially with new data showing that about 4 in 10 Nigerian adults are hypertensive.
People should stop smoking, stop drinking, should walk a bit more, watch what they eat. We're getting bigger, we're adopting all the foreign lifestyle, drinking all the sugary drinks and everything, even from childhood.
It is very important to understand what treatment is available, what's applied, and what can be optimized.
The idea of the polypill is that you combine all these necessary medicines in one tablet, and therefore the patient just takes one tablet hopefully once a day, and that leads to less confusion, better adherence.
Associated with this is also a lot of cases of sudden death. So as a society, we are really worried about this. We are conducting research. We are providing public health interventions to address some of these challenges.
While Nigeria and Africa are facing increasing cardiovascular diseases, bringing together these experts is expected to address the challenge and impact meaningfully to reduce cardiovascular disease with increased awareness and early detection. In Abuja, Tokpe Alabi, NTA News.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, and family members of Ardo Dembos have condoled with the Lamido Adamawa Dr. Mahamadou Barkindo Aliu Mustafa over the death of his brother Sardauna Adamawa and former Controller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Amadou Aliu Mustafa. Mary Adamu George reports that the DG also received condolence messages over the passing of his elder brother who died recently in Kaduna.
At the Lamido's Palace, Gidado Hamidu Malabo, who spoke on behalf of the Dembos family, told the Lamido that they accompanied the DGNT to express their heartfelt sympathy and condolence over the demise of the former Controller General of Nigeria Customs. He described the death of the former custom boss as a great loss not only to the royal family but the entire state and Nigeria at large. He prayed Allah to forgive his shortcomings and grant him paradise. The Lamido thanked the Director General of NTA and the Odo Dembos family for the visit. The DG and his family members were also at the residence of the district head of Malabo, Aliu Hamawa Malabo, to also condole him over the death of his uncle Abubakar Chiroma. The DG, who holds the title Sarkin Yaki Malabo, described the death of Abubakar Chiroma as a great loss to Malabo district and the entire Adamawa state. The district head of Malabo thanked the DG for the show of love and wished him well in his endeavors. The Director General also received management of NTA Yola, led by its acting general manager, Habiba Sidi, to condole him over the passing of his eldest brother, Seydou Abdulhamid Dembos, who died recently, and prayed for the repose soul of the deceased and Allah to grant him Al-Jannah Fidawsi. A 3-day prayer was held in honor of the deceased. In Yola, Mary Adamu George, NTA News.
And that concludes the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.